At that point, that was often the only way you could get this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the records became easier to get, but merch-wise, you couldn't be getting good punk bands merch in the UK.
I remember having to...
Even going to Camden, you wouldn't be getting shit. If
do you remember that Big Tower Records as well? It was the Big Tower Records in Piccadilly Circus. They used to have all imports.
That was amazing for imports.
Fanzines
there
as well.
For me, it was punk and hip-hop imports. They'd be like 20 quid a CD minimum, but amazing.
You could change the price tags on over there. They wouldn't notice.
Yeah, you could scam easy enough. Yeah. But again, on getting merch or whatever of punk bands, if they'd been over, you could go to Camden and buy a bootleg video of their gig, but you couldn't really get any merch or anything else. And again, I love that. The bootleg video guy, I buy the lot. I've got the one I've still got.
So
I think is a Rancid one. It might be.
There's a bootleg DVD place there. I got the Decline of Western Civilization, like all three, including the metal one. Have you seen the metal one?
No, yeah.
Oh my God, you have to watch it. It's so fucking good.
That's amazing. I love that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, that's my thing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't steal music. I think, I don't know, I've been brought up, and I've been arguing with some mates over this recently. I've been brought up that if I can't afford something, I won't have it, and I'm fine with that. So I would get an album or two a month because that's all I could afford,
and that's all you can really
with my wage or
that's
whatever
all you can really process and listen to anyway. Is to have there's just a short attention span that you got that Spotify kind of creates.
Yeah,
that you just skim through, and
it's so disposable.
There's only an album has to really hook me. Like even on the same, it has to really hook me for me to put it in my set offline, save to offline or whatever. But it's like, I'm not even paying money for it. I don't know, the whole thing is just like, it's gone a bit broken and like...
Yeah, I find it weird. Again, but I mean, the worst of all, and I've probably mentioned this before, and I had it again recently, the worst of all is when I have people say, hey man, I stole your record, but I'll buy your merch or whatever else. It's like, just don't tell me. If you've got to steal it, then... I guess that's the thing that
but it's
gets
like that bravado that people just have of when they talk.
I feel there should be shame. And that sounds harsh, but I feel you should be ashamed if you've stolen my shit. I don't think you should be, all right, I nicked it. It's like, well, fuck you. And again, I don't agree that, and I'm sure you'll have experienced this as well, I don't agree, I stole your record, but I paid to come to your gig. It's like, up until this recent time off I'm having from gigs, I was doing 100 plus gigs a year, and it's why... Or it's a lot to do with why all my relationships have failed, how I see my friends very rarely. One of my best mates, his kid's 3 now, I've not met him yet because of gigging and touring so much. It's like, that money you're paying is paying for that gig, and we put it all out there and we put everything into that. That money has nothing to do with the album we spent months recording. That's two as separate things. It's like saying, when you're working in an office, it's like, I've not been paid this week. It's like, no, I paid you for last week though. I've paid you for last week, so
like paid every other hour.
Yeah, it's like, no, that's not. It's two different things. So yeah. But anyway, let's not just rant too much about.
I've managed to somehow like make enough money to live from music.
Yeah.
So and it's still, I'm still managing to figure it out somehow. So it's
same,
like,
man. Again, it's why, and it's the Taylor Swift thing, which I think was dope because everyone was like, "Oh, why is she moaning about pay?" It's like, it's for other people. It's not for her. It's not her getting annoyed. And again, the fact is, I've been lucky. I've lived off this for 9 years now, and it's all right.
Yeah,
But as you said, I got in at just the right point. If I was starting off now, I wouldn't have a career. I wouldn't be able to do this. It wouldn't have happened. All my records, everyone who's listened to this, who knows any of my stuff, would never have heard my stuff, because that's just, it's the industry now. I didn't come from a wealthy family, so I would have had to give up a lot earlier.
Yeah, well, that's why labels are important.
I had enough to tick over. I lived at home with my mum. I'd not got expensive tastes, so it was like I could get by on literally 5 or 6 grand a year. So it was all right to just struggle by at that point. But
well, I think I guess like it just, if you can do it year by year, make it work. Just like that's all you can ask for. It's like you're just lucky
tough. And again, people always say, and again I had this with when I had War and Peace on the on my label tour, and people are like, oh, you need to do more dates. I was like, that's the maximum amount of time that they can get off work.
Yeah, well, same
because they're not earning enough. Because they're not earning enough to do this full time. Because there's not. Because people steal music and so on. And again, this isn't me. It sounds like we're shooting on people. Again, do what you want to do, but these are the facts of it. Know the actual intricacies of it. It's not the same as 10 years ago when we're stealing off a major label.
For even like LimeWire and all that stuff, like Spotify sort of just made that stuff legal. It's like, well, everyone's stealing it. Let's just make it legal to steal it.
Yeah,
kind of, isn't it? It's just it's very weird.
It's conscience a relief, in my opinion. But you did get signed, and you didn't sell out as the guy in the punk shop for. But how was that? And was there any? I don't know. I think it must have been nice for you knowing that you changed your sound because of new stuff you were into.
Yeah. Well, new stuff from the 90s.
Yeah, but stuff new to you, I guess. But was are there any trepidation from anyone else in the band or anything like that? The fact that you've changed your sound and now got signed, have we just... Do you know what I mean? Have we sold out? Essentially, that is a question.
Yeah, I think... no, we were all really... like, everyone wanted to sound like we sounded, and it was like... We'd gone through... I mean, we'd sounded like so many different things as a band. I remember we saw the Icarus line all together as a band in, like, I guess in, like, late 90s or whatever. And I was just, like, in love with that gig. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. I love that band. And the reason I loved it is because I was terrified. It was really frightening. Like, I felt like... Because it was just so unpredictable, and they were like... It was like... He was like this weird gazelle on stage. It was just darting around. He had makeup all over him. His hair was just like and it was really intense experience.
Yeah.
And that stays with me now, and I think about that like every now and again, how good that gig was. It must have been, they were just sort of starting to do stuff then. And then that week, we started wearing makeup, and we started doing that. We did some songs like that, and then we were like every sort of band.
Everyone has taken influence from... Oh, that's part of music. Again, it's such a weird thing when people you're ripping off that person. It's like, no, I'm a massive fan of that person.
Isn't it?
And they've influenced what I do now.
Yeah, it's funny with Morrissey as well. Morrissey only seems to support bands that kind of sound like him or rip him off a bit.
Yeah.
So he loves Gene.
Yeah.
And he loves Smoking Popes, who are also like one of my favourite bands, who sort of sound like him. And like, so he was like a sort of supported us eventually. Like he was really said some kind stuff about the band, which was absolutely mental. But yeah, we just changed so much. This happened to be the one that we were most comfortable with, and it just clicked, and we were like, "This is what we're like." And then, like, I guess we got signed, and we were like, "This is brilliant." And then we had to do another record, and we didn't really know what to do with the second one.
Yeah.
So we sort of I think we tried to go a bit like indie music.
It's like,
but.
Do we change again? Yeah. Do we develop?
Well, we kind of did, and like, I think we were trying to be a bit. Do you know what I put it down to? Is like, we had we had the front cover of The Enemy, and we were meant to do Why I Love Morrissey.
Yeah.
And we were like, up until like when we were about to do the interview, they changed it to Paul Weller.
Oh wow!
Because Franz Ferdinand were doing Morrissey.
Oh shit!
So they were like, you can't do Morrissey, do Paul Weller. And I love Star Council. I think Star Council is a great band, and I do like the Jam. But it's not necessarily like my favourite shit ever.
Yeah.
But so we did the front cover, and then all these like mod kids started coming to our gigs, which I love the culture. I love seeing it, especially the sort of Americanized version of it that I'd been surrounded with, or whatever. But then I was like, oh, so we're like a mod band now.
It's weird how small things like that can define a lot of stuff.
And I was like, well, I'm like, happy to sort of roll with it.
I feel I have to confess at this point, I've got real mixed emotions with Morrissey. I like a lot of his...
This piece of fiction is the intro to the